Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching The Taking of Pelham 123 by Joseph Sargent, starring Walter Matthew, please correct me if my pronunciation is wrong, and Robert Shaw. Although I'm not familiar with Matthew's work, I am a big fan of Robert Shaw. I've seen him in 3 films, all on the channel. Jaws, which was one of my first videos, From Russia with Love, that had Sean Connery in it too, so great. And another classic, The Sting. Please do check them out when you have the time. That man had a real commanding presence on screen, and please do recommend another good Robert Shaw film in the comments below. I know about this movie, The Taking of Pelham 123, mostly because there was a recent remake, and by recent I mean the late 2000s. Time really flies, guys. It had John Travolta and Denzel Washington, I believe, and I remember seeing the trailers for it, and I can't recall whether I've actually watched the film or not, but I do kind of know that it has something to do with a runaway train or a hostage situation. Basically, it's a crime film or a thriller. When I bought up this movie on my Patreon, over 95% of my lovely patrons told me to watch the original, as it's considered far superior to the remake, which isn't surprising, and that's exactly what I'm here to find out, because I might actually watch the remake too and compare both the films like I did with the 2 Dune movies, one by Denis Villeneuve and the other by the legendary David Lynch. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie and over 220 movies, 2 TV shows, early access and weekly posts for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along, and the links in the description below. Please consider being a patron, please subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos, like if you like this video, feel free to dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. The Taking of Pelham 123, Sargent, Matthew, Shaw. Let's go. The Taking of Pelham 123. Music by David Shire, that name is familiar. A very interesting choice of music, it's very upbeat for a thriller like this. Oh, it's based on a novel. Didn't know that. Joseph Sargent. I'm not familiar with this director at all. But what I am familiar with is 1970s New York. It has such a distinctive look, and I've seen plenty of films that shows New York in the 70s. Most recently, Dog Day Afternoon. Is that a hidden gun? That's what I think. That's where I'm putting my money. So, Pelham 123 is the name of the train, I think, right?
And the doors are closed. Now I'm checking my indicator lights to make sure all the doors are locked.
It's a trainee. Is he actually sick, or is he regretting his decision? What a perv. That's another one. I don't like that. So far we've seen 3 of them. Robert Shaw. He's the fourth guy?
What's wrong, dude? Ain't you never seen a sunset before?
I like the use of no music when we're introduced to Robert Shaw's character, showing that he's probably important to the plot.
How am I supposed to see what you...
It begins.
I'm taking your train. You're taking my train?
That's what the man said.
Open the door or I'll blow your head off.
Keep your hand off the microphone button.
The plan's in motion.
And Mr. Nakabashi? I'd like you to meet Lieutenant Zachary Garber of our own New York Transit Authority Police.
Ah, okay.
Cold sounds pretty bad.
Oh, he just has a cold, not cold feet. Which I thought earlier.
Hiya.
Very good friends, Rico.
Hiya.
Dude, I recognize who Rico is. That's Jerry Stiller, Ben Stiller's father. Oh my goodness, I've never seen him in a movie, except Ben Stiller's own films.
Well, we had a bomb scare in the Bronx yesterday, but it turned out to be a cantaloupe. I'm busy, Zach, okay?
Oh, Jerry Stiller.
What's on the Canarsie?
That's right, Mr. Green. Tell Mr. Doyle all about yourself, will you?
Oh, Mr. Green is an ex-train conductor.
Come in, Pelham 123.
Pelham 123, where the fuck are you?
How come that gate ain't locked?
Who's gonna steal a subway train?
Don't speak too soon.
He left the front car behind.
The goddamn cord must be busted.
Oh no, I hear kids laughing.
Now then, you'll all remain seated.
Nobody even panicked. See what I mean? But no, things are gonna change.
He's halfway between stations. What the hell's going on down
Your
there?
mental case. I'm gonna nail this pecker to the goddamn wall for this. If I gotta watch my language just because they let a few broads in, I'm gonna quit.
Oh man, he's a serious misogynist. Like,
All right, Mr. Doyle. Collect all the passengers from the 9 cars we've cut loose, and you walk them to 28th Street Station.
they only took the first car.
What's happening, sir, is that you're being held by 4 very dangerous men armed with machine
4 men.
Still got my ass shot full of lead.
Shut your mouth, nigga.
Ooh. Yeah, this Mr. Gray is a little erratic, for sure. I mean, clearly racist, but also erratic.
Don't worry about a thing. They don't understand a word of English. This way, dummies. Just that.
This way, dummies.
Frank Farrell, the Lord Byron of the New York City subway system.
There's some unexpected humor. It's very dry humor, though.
Something troubling you?
I think I'm gonna die today.
That's entirely possible.
Was that foreshadowing? I'm gonna die today.
I want an explanation and it better be good.
Your train has been taken. Your locomotive has been hijacked by a group of heavily armed men.
Oh no.
What the hell would anybody want to hijack a goddamn subway train for?
Money.
Johnny, would you take these monkeys up to 13?
It is all right, Lieutenant Garber. I'm sure we can find him by ourselves.
Ouch.
And thank you for a most instructive visit, Lieutenant.
And he looks like he's super embarrassed.
What's up, Z?
You won't believe it.
You know me, I'll believe anything.
The train's been hijacked.
I don't believe it.
See, more of that dry humor.
Say, when we get what we want, you'll all be released unharmed. Until then, of course, you'll continue to do precisely as you're told.
What's going to happen to us if you don't get what you want?
Excuse me, sir. We are going to get what we want.
You're like the captain of the ship. You're supposed to go down with it. Tell command center I'll be on my way to investigate.
That has to be the most incompetent man around.
Please inform the mayor that we demand $1 million cash for the release of the car and all the hostages.
$1 million. That's not a crazy amount of money today.
Keep dreaming, maniac.
Dude, what are you
Furthermore,
doing, you
if anybody
idiot?
attempts to interfere, anyone in any way...
You're aggravating them.
There is no way you can get away with this. You are underground in a tunnel. Well, the guy who's talking's got a heavy English accent. He could be a fruitcake.
Fruitcake.
But a train's been hijacked.
Holy shit.
For God's sake, don't say anything.
I'm sorry you have the flu, Mr. Mayor.
That's the mayor.
Nothing more I can do.
And he's got the flu too.
A gang of men has hijacked a subway train. They want $1 million for it.
Come on up.
Looks like he's seen a ghost.
Yes, I trust Mr. Brown. I do not trust Mr. Gray.
Ah, the trigger happy.
I also think that he is mad.
Even Mr. Green recognizes that he's a little off.
Why didn't you go grab a goddamn aeroplane like everybody else? I warned you, stupid.
Oh
Holy shit.
no. Holy crap indeed.
I warned the bastard, but he kept on coming anyway.
So you just
You alone?
shot him? How about some warning shots before you take a life, you freaking idiot? And he's laughing. Yeah, he's clearly a psychopath.
They just drew first blood. That supervisor from Grand Central Tower. You don't know his name. They just killed him.
Oh, God. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, I thought they'd react more seriously.
They just shot him.
Dead?
That's the reaction I'm looking for.
There's a cop on a train? How do you know?
There were 2 of them, but one got off at 33rd Street and called in later when the news got out.
There is a cop among the hostages.
Warren, goddammit, this city hasn't got $1 million.
New York doesn't have $1 million.
Shit, piss, fuck.
He's feeling the weight of the responsibility, and I don't blame him swearing. I'm switching between horrified and laughing, so it's a very weird combination.
Gesundheit.
It is 2:24, Lieutenant. You've got 49 minutes left.
Be reasonable, will you?
Christ, to hear you plead with that chicken shit makes me ashamed of being American.
Will you, Frank? Go play with your train.
What about the hostages, you dumbo?
We have a sniper's report that they're moving around inside the car pretty freely.
They're in a tunnel surrounded on all sides, top and bottom. Now, how do they expect to get away?
That's a good question.
I can't guarantee the safety of the hostages.
In other words, you're for paying the ransom.
Well, we don't want another Attica, do we?
Oh, Attica!
Shit.
They're referencing the events that happened a couple of years ago, which was also referenced in Dog Day Afternoon, which I watched a couple of weeks ago.
You've heard from the three wise men. Now, what do you say?
You gotta make a decision.
But just think what you're going to get in return.
What?
18 sure votes.
All right.
Oh, bureaucrats.
I'm not all that easy to see in the dark.
Suppose they don't.
Well, then a lot of people are going to die, aren't they?
The Africans paid me 5,000.
A month?
For leading a battalion.
And he was a mercenary.
At least you weren't fired, you know. I don't give a shit. Who wants to drive a subway train for the rest of his life?
Pass the word along. The mayor's agreed to pay. Let the hijackers know right away, will you?
We agree to pay the ransom. Repeat, we agree to pay. You're gonna make every man, woman, and child in New York City close their eyes and count to 100, right?
That's a pipe dream.
As soon as the money gets here, will you let us go?
Soon after.
The Federal Reserve Bank of New York. All this is happening inside, what, less than 20 minutes. And I like the camera work here, how frantic it is. And then the next scene, we cut to the mayor's butt. I mean...
Look, Al, all you have to do is say a few words to the hijackers over a bullhorn. You make a dignified plea for mercy.
I wonder what that cop's thinking about now.
What cop?
The one who's a hostage. Shit, I'm glad it's not
All
me.
right, yeah. Isn't the director going to introduce us to this undercover cop?
Somebody down there knows how to drive a train. You don't pick that up watching Sesame Street. Tell me when it's at 8.
Right. They have a motorman.
I'm giving you an order, Mr. Gray.
Blow it out of your ass.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
You're talking to the wrong man.
10 minutes, then. What difference can 10 minutes make to you?
Negative.
Completely uncompromising.
You know the system. You give them an hour, they take an hour. You give them 2 hours, they take 2 hours. An hour is plenty of time.
Yeah, Mr. Green, he doesn't want to kill. Mr. Gray really wants to kill, and Mr. Blue, he doesn't want to kill unless he has to, but he is willing to. I really like the camera work here. The shaky, erratic movements. It really conveys the panic. Such a serious situation they're in.
Coming up in 1 minute.
They have 1 minute. Oh no! Oh no!
How can they do that? If they know the truck is wrecked, how can they expect us to be on time?
They don't know anything down there. How can they know anything where they Tell them 1, 2, 3, the money has arrived. Repeat, the money has arrived.
He's bluffing.
You made it just in time, didn't you?
Oh, and they bought it. Oh, lucky hostages. That was a smart move from Garber.
If we were a couple of seconds late, you mean you would have knocked off an innocent party?
Affirmative.
2 unarmed policemen.
Gesundheit.
Any wrong move by anyone, and I kill a hostage.
Just as expected, the mayor is here and everybody's booing him. What happened? And it's not even Mr. Gray shooting.
All right. Yeah, it's not too bad. I didn't see anybody. I just got mad. God damn it.
Mr. Gray, go back there and help Mr. Green, will you, please?
It's interesting how similar all of them look. The mustache, the glasses, the hat, the trench coat. It's to confuse people in identifying them. Smart.
It came from somewhere behind me in the dark. It had to be one of those snipers they got down here.
Oh no.
Conductor.
Oh man, it's getting tense. Fuck. Holy crap. He's dead. I'm not surprised because Mr. Green, he said exactly what he'd do, and he did it.
One of my men was fired. I warned you what the penalty would be.
Yeah, you warned me.
Where's the money?
Oh man. I'd be so scared walking up to this train, seeing two dead bodies in front of me.
Shut the door, Mr. Brown, will you?
It's all there.
You will clear the local track all the way from 28th Street to South Ferry. By clear, I mean switches properly set or signals green. You will also remove all police personnel from the tunnel. If I see a single policeman between here and South Ferry, I'll shoot another hostage.
Yeah, I can't sympathize with any of the hijackers anymore. At first, I just thought Mr. Gray was the crazy one, but Mr. Blue ended up killing people, so there's no redemption for any of them at this point.
Beats hell out of me, Z. I wouldn't have picked the tunnel to make my getaway from in the first place.
But they did pick it.
They clearly have a plan.
They're gonna fly the train to Cuba.
Ah.
You're a sick man, Rico.
She's moving.
Who's moving?
Pelham 1, 2, 3.
It's on the move again.
Who's moving?
Who do you think Pelham's moving to?
Who's moving?
Again with the dry humor.
Suppose they're not on the train. What if they set the throttle and jumped off?
Exactly.
The handle has to have a man's hand pressing down on it hard at all times.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
Pelham 1, 2, 3.
They are doing something. I like the shots on ground level, looking at New York, almost like a time capsule.
Just letting you know the track's cleared all the way to South Ferry.
Thank you. You'll all remain seated.
I like giving these hijackers very unique traits. It helps me distinguish between them because they all are dressed and look alike. We know one of them stutters, we know one of them's a psychopath, we know one of them has the flu, and then of course there's the leader in Robert Shaw's character.
Okay, come on.
And from what it looks like, they activated the dead man switch, and holy crap, it's the cop!
Where do you think they're taking us now?
But now they're on a runaway train. Oh man. And they probably rigged it.
Oh, this is all chicken shit. Why don't we just do it?
Mustaches.
But these have been smart. They haven't made a single mistake. I tell you, we're overlooking something, Inspector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like jumping off the train. Turn around, Inspector. We're going back to 17th Street.
Mr. Gray, I won't ask you again.
Blow it out of your ass, Mr. Blue.
Oh. Well, he deserved to die, so I don't feel bad for him. Oh no. Dude, you're still outnumbered. They got Mr. Brown. I like the use of no score in this scene.
Did you get him?
You go on ahead.
You better be right about this, Garber.
Well, even if I am, it's probably too late.
Oh man. One of them looks like he's getting away.
Excuse me, fella, would you mind dropping that gun and turning around, please?
It's Garber! He made it!
Officer.
You're the English guy on the radio.
Yes. Do you people still execute in this state?
What? Hey!
Holy crap! Holy freaking crap! He just killed himself. Just like that? I mean, he has no way out. And what a way to die. With no hesitation, nothing. I like how they're shooting the fast scenes. And it stopped? There was no red light, right?
22nd Street already?
No way.
None of these guys know how to drive a train. It means it's the motor man who's missing.
Mm-hmm. One of them actually got away and he's rolling in his money. His blood money.
Who's that?
Police department.
Who?
I'm Lieutenant Patron. This is Lieutenant Garber.
But you heard about the hijacking, huh?
What hijacking?
The subway train.
Listen, I know I got a gripe with it here. I know I got a bum rap, but I wouldn't do anything as stupid as what you just told me.
Sorry if we bothered you, Mr. Longman.
Sorry, go.
Oh no! And he said Gesundheit. Oh, this is where it ends. What an ending! Looks like none of them get away with it. It was so thrilling and funny, so well written. I had a great time with this, guys. Oh, so good. Okay, I took a little time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was a thrill ride from the beginning to the end, and what a well written and directed film. The strengths included the excellent performances, the ambience, the writing and directing, the tension, and the unexpected dry humor. Whereas the only weakness I could think of was the subplot of that undercover cop. That character wasn't introduced to the last 15 or 20 minutes of the film, even though he was referenced throughout the movie. Maybe introducing that character a little later would have distracted me a little less, since I was constantly expecting something to happen, for the undercover officer to do something. Maybe that was the point of the filmmakers, and if it was, more power to them. For now, let's start with the directing by Joseph Sargent and the script by Peter Stone. As I haven't read the novel this film was based on, I don't know how well it was adapted for screen, but from what we just saw, I'm guessing the scriptwriter did a fairly good job with the adaptation. I want to start off with New York City, which felt like a character in itself. The bustle, the people, the culture, and the accents, they're on full display here. I loved that aspect of the movie. Putting that aside, the filmmakers, they waste no time in introducing us to the characters and the hijacking. All of this happens in the first 10 to 15 minutes. All four hijackers were dressed and they looked very much alike, with their trench coats, their glasses, their hats, their mustaches. And at first I thought I'd have a hard time telling them apart, but the good news is that the filmmakers, they gave each of the hijackers unique traits. For example, Mr. Gray, he was a psychopath. Mr. Brown, he stuttered. Mr. Green, he had the flu and sneezed. And the leader, Mr. Blue, had a different accent to everybody else. This helped me distinguish each person, except Robert Shaw, of course, who's like super famous. The second act of the movie was a little more predictable. It was basically a cat and mouse game of the hijackers making demands and the police trying to keep up with them. This is where Robert Shaw's character comes in, Mr. Blue. At first, I thought the filmmakers would try and redeem his character at the end because he seemed so reasonable, but nope. When he said 1 hour, he meant 1 hour, and when he said he'd kill somebody, he ends up doing it. He kills the conductor, I believe. I expected Mr. Gray to die at the end since he was a straight up psychopath, but Mr. Blue, Robert Shaw, electrocuting himself at the end was a real surprise, and I did not see that coming. And the way he does it so casually, total surprise. I don't believe they explore too much of Mr. Brown's character, but the man that got away, Mr. Green, the dude with the sneeze, oh man, how he almost got away with it at the end, that was absolutely thrilling to watch. The tension in that final scene in his apartment, the tension was palpable. I love the fact that the sneeze, his flu, was used as a part of the plot, which gave him away at the end. That was so good. And that smile from Garber, wow. The only minor issue I had with the script was the undercover police officer story. I totally understand why the character didn't take action till the very end. He was outnumbered, he was outgunned, outmatched. But I don't think it was necessary for the filmmakers to reveal the fact that there was an undercover police officer on board so early in the story. Maybe introducing that element in the middle of the plot would have been better. I was constantly trying to figure out which one of the hostages was the cop, so I guess it was a little distracting. But on the other hand, I do see a narrative purpose for it too. Maybe it was a way to keep the audience guessing and on edge. If that was the intention of filmmakers, it kind of worked, but I still think introducing that character a little later, maybe at the beginning of the second or third act, would have played better, if that makes any sense. Moving on to one of my main highlights of the film, which was the excellent score by David Shire. It was a mix of jazz, upbeat tempo, sounds, and almost funky music, which reminded me of the post-60s era. The more tension-filled scenes had almost no music or very high notes from a piano, which emphasized the seriousness and the craziness of the situation they were in. I also had no issues with the rest of the production, although it didn't look like the most expensive film. It doesn't matter. It didn't take away from the experience at all, at least for me. As I've talked about my minor criticism already, overall, The Taking of Pelham 123 was a top-tier thriller. From the writing and directing to the fantastic music and the excellent performances, especially from Shaw and Matthau. This film held my attention the entire time. I would highly recommend it literally for anybody, and I'd go as far as to say that I consider this a classic. The question now is whether it's worth watching and reviewing the remake and kind of comparing the two films. Do let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video. Dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.